What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another Slab Stocks live show, Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Slab Stocks YouTube channel. My name is Aaron, joined by Nate, and today we are talking about some market updates, confidence meters in the sports card market for certain players and cards. And also at the end of today's episode, Nate will be talking to us about an experience he had today, which was pretty cool. Had to do with cards and baseball, two of Nate's favorite things. And I'm super excited for Nate to share about that. And I think you all might have heard a little tease about that last night on the PWCC Slab Stocks Sundays episode or on Nate's Day in Corners on Saturday, if you are a religious Slab Stocks listener. But if you're just a Slab Stocks live listener, it'll be really cool. And if you already knew about it, Nate gets to tell you about it. So I'm super pumped about that. Nate, just 1 to 10, how was that experience that you'll tell us about later?
11.
11. There we go. Beats the 10. I love it. All right. Jumping into today's episode, we're going right into it. No waiting. The only update I have to provide is that all of the packages from this morning Slab Stocks reveals are shipped out, which is really cool. That was a super fast turnaround time, so thanks to the Slab Stocks shipping team. And then Slab Stocks grading submission 415 went out this past weekend, so appreciate everyone who submitted for that. And excited to see what those grades are. Next submission coming up is the 30th of April. So slabstocks.com/grading to submit your cards to SGC through us. $18 for sports cards, $12 for Pokemon cards. Let's get into today's content. Consumer confidence, all-time low or all-time high. Now, I figured, it'd be kind of cool to do a segment where I'd present the player, a card, and you tell me if it's an all-time low or all-time high. But guess what? That is just way too easy. So there'll be no guessing associated with this. Because, Nate, if I showed you Zion Williamson, what would you say, all-time high or all-time low?
All-time low.
Exactly.
So I can't actually believe it's an all-time low. Like, I would have expected some of these cards back when they came out to be lower than it is now. So the fact that it's the lowest now is still a little bit shocking.
Now, the thing I would say for Zion's cards specifically, it might not hold true for the other cards I'll show you all and talk to you about, but Zion's first graded copies are starting to hit early 2020. This Prism card released in December, this Prism Blue rookie number out of 199. So it's like it was already getting close to that kind of COVID bubble where we already had Nate, I don't know if you remember as well as I do. Your memory's not as good as mine.
It's true.
However, I have to admit, Nate, you got me. Okay, Cespedes did win the 2014 Home Run Derby. I swore by it was Todd Frazier. Embarrassed myself, honestly. Todd thinks it's that he won.
I was like, man, I'm pretty sure it's Cespedes, but I could be wrong.
No, Todd got second, and then he won the following year in Cincinnati. That's where I had the missing link there. But credit to Nate, I made fun of him for his memory, but here's me now having the worst memory. Don't challenge Nate on baseball. If it has to do with baseball, he won't forget.
Well, okay, occasionally.
Okay, now back to the Zion card. So the reason why I think that this is all-time low now versus back when it first released is that there's already a lot of energy coming to the sports card market, basketball cards, prior to COVID happening. That just kind of took it to a new height. But yeah, in fact, this is a new all-time low for it. $1,625 for this BGS 9.5 of the Prism Blue. It's dropped quite significantly recently, even as much as earlier in this year. It was a $4,000 card. I think a lot of people were looking forward to him playing in the play-in tournament and getting that excitement back to his cards. And it didn't only not happen. I think it completely fell on its face. The fact that we didn't see Zion play the rest of this year was a big detriment to his cards. And you're looking at $14K for the height of this card, which means a PSA 10 probably would have been upwards of $20K at the peak. Isn't that nuts? Makes a little cowboy hat there almost.
Oof.
Brian Lewis in the house says low, and Brian, you are correct. Good to see you back here. But yeah, this is a 63% drop since it was around $4,200 or so. I think that probably was $4,500. Or actually $4,300, excuse me, back in the start of 2020, and now it's down to $1,625. Really, really fell off the map, and we'll see what happens from here. But I don't see any really big expectations coming back to Zion Williamson's market until he gets a run of 20 games going together. But now people are just going to think he's going to get hurt again. That's what happened this year. Nate and I are some of the biggest Zion fans, not from necessarily a card perspective, but just from a player perspective. And it's been really disappointing to see the lack of playing and production. Now, on the flip side, all-time highs, De'Aaron Fox cards are hitting all-time highs. Now, this specific card, there's one sale that hit like $11,000 or $10,500. Most recent sale in $9,300. So a little off the all-time high. But De'Aaron Fox's market perception, consumer confidence in the values is at an all-time high. Now, the funny thing here is we're talking about all-time highs in values. But as we can tell with these graphs, it's like just because a card hits an all-time high, that there's no saying or even confidence in the fact in some scenarios that it will stay up there or progress from there. You see Zion's cards, if it hit an all-time high at 14K and you thought confidence is at an all-time high, they'll keep going up. Well, that did not happen. And I'm not saying that De'Aaron Fox's cards are going to fall like Zion's has, because I don't expect him to miss a bunch of games. He's a athletic point guard, one of the quickest in the league, not a massive injury risk other than high flying dunks and stuff. John Morant's actually a way bigger injury risk than De'Aaron Fox. Man, he always gets hurt, Ja. Like, I feel like there's always a time where he's like jumping in the air, crashing like Derrick Rose, and he's gonna be out for like 3 weeks at a time sometimes, like will be now probably.
Yeah,
but Fox had a huge game, 38 points the other night in game 1 against the Warriors. For sure puts his market right now at an all-time high. And Nate, I got to ask you, there's a lot to be left with what I think the Kings' potential, not even just this year, but maybe next year and the year after that. Are you a sell on any Fox card if it looks like this graph? We're talking massive rises since 2018 and even substantial rises since 2021 or 2022.
Well, let's see. De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis are 26 and 25-ish.
Yeah, that's a great duo core, by the way. I know that we love Halliburton here from a player standpoint. It was worth it for the Kings to get those two together.
It was. And, they're 25, 26. They got young Keegan Murray, who is really good. They're going to be entering their prime together and just building off of this, which I think is important because we're in year 1.5 of this relationship. And now we get to build and build. And you can see, now obviously these guys aren't Giannis, but you see what Giannis and Chris Middleton built together year after year after year. And there's no reason the Kings can't keep getting better by just, these two guys entering their prime and building together.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with the rest of this playoffs. More specifically, I think next year, do they all take a step forward and get even better? Can they challenge for like a 2 seed next year if the Grizzlies aren't as good or something like that? Or, who knows what happens? Maybe a full season, the Suns with KD and Booker, and they end up in the 1 seed. We don't know. We'll see next year, but I think that'll be extremely exciting to see what this Kings team does. And Bazooka Tom is definitely maybe a pseudo Kings fan or a real Kings fan, considering there's no basketball team in Iowa unless you maybe like the Wolves. I don't know. But Keegan Murray is definitely the one to collect. He's a Hawkeye. Bazooka Tom, our resident Hawkeye fan here at the Slab Stocks community.
So I feel like there's a odd amount of good random players in sports from like Iowa.
Like who else?
Well, like Kittle's from Iowa, right?
Oh, I don't know. You're asking the wrong person that one. I don't remember playing against him in
there's a tight end from Iowa. I thought it was Kittle,
it is him, bro. He was born in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh.
I had no idea.
Weird.
And he stuffed us. He didn't come to Madison. That's
probably didn't recruit him. Trash recruiting process.
Honestly, probably not. I know that
probably tried to turn him into a defensive end.
Wait. Noah Fant, was he Iowa?
He might have been.
Because Tom just said he was. Noah Fant also was Iowa.
Yeah, and then you get Keegan Murray, and not Iowa, but Halliburton, Iowa State, right?
Yep, also born in Wisconsin. Shout out Wisconsin. Creating a bunch of nice athletes.
But
De'Aaron Fox. So, wow, I forgot about that one too. Now, you tell me though, like, I know that it's always like take profit if it's there, but normally when we see a graph like this, the risk is quite high. Do you think the risk is lower right now with holding Fox cards and maybe the normal big rise like this?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When was the last time the Kings made the playoffs?
17 years ago, my man.
Okay. Do you think that the hype would be more for a guy making playoffs 2 years in a row or for a guy leading a team to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years?
First time in 17 years.
There's my answer.
So he's still a sell right now, even though the Kings have a lot to go. Here's what I'd say. Sell it. Make your money if you bought into early on Fox. Wait until you see if prices go down, if they get eliminated by the Warriors, or even if they lose next series. There might be a little bit of gains to be had this playoffs if they really beat the Warriors. But, lower your risk, buy in later over the offseason, and, you might be able to snag some nice cards. And Gabriel says, just give Wade Miley the Cy Young, case closed.
Imagine striking out 8 times to Wade Miley. That dude doesn't strike guys out. He just causes ground balls, pop flies.
That's crazy. I thought he was really a ground ball guy for sure.
As a team, you strike out 8 times to Wade Miley. Rough scene.
Can you guess what his all-time high card sale was?
De'Aaron Fox or Wade Miley?
Wade Miley.
$23.
No. $385 for a 2012 Bowman Sterling auto redemption superfractor. $385 in 2013, bro. Someone paid $385 for a Wade Miley card in 2013.
Well, Wade Miley was pretty good back then, right?
Well, I'm not saying
2013, he was coming off of a 3.3. So 2012, he had a 3.33 ERA in 194 innings and a 3.55 ERA in 202 innings in Arizona. So he had like back-to-back really good years.
I guess so, but remember the market was tiny back then. Like we're talking about.
I agree.
Either way, still crazy. All right, next up, Nate. I'm gonna let you speak to this guy, Joe Adell. This is crazy. This is a crazy graph. $300 was the first sale for this card back in 2018 when the market obviously was substantially lower. Reached all the way up to $700 for a Bowman Chrome base auto PSA 9. We know that there's a lack of color autos with Joe Adell.
Yeah,
but
no.
Why is this card $46 now?
So I'm under the impression that there is no greens, blues, purples, refractors, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think there's blacks, golds, oranges, reds, and the super.
It started with gold, I think. I don't think there's any blacks.
There's no blacks? I thought there was black, but I could be super wrong. Honestly, at $46, this is almost like I'd take a flyer on that. I mean, considering, did you see what he was doing in AAA to start the year?
There's no blacks, just confirming. I did not see what he's doing in AAA to start the year.
So obviously this could be just the case of quad A player, right? You know, every time he gets called up to the majors, he stinks. In AAA, he's just way too good. But in AAA this year, he is currently hitting 322 with a 452 on base and an 814 slugging with 8 home runs in 15 games.
Okay.
And good defense, from what I hear.
That's good stats.
But, you know, and that's 1,026 or 1,266 OPS. In AAA last year, he had a 920 OPS, but a 637 in major leagues. 934 the year before that in AAA, but 703. So it's like you don't want to buy in. You don't want to buy into the stats, and yet part of me is like, it's gotten so cheap.
It's 46.
What if he comes up and has a hot week in the majors? I don't need him to be good. What if he just carried that hot week into the majors for 1 week?
Yeah, $46 is extremely cheap, and it is an all-time low for this card.
And specifically because of the lack of color autos.
Yeah, so the value prop's a little bit higher on this anyways, as it is. Down on the farm says, don't get fooled by Adell. Michael Ham says, can't handle the big show. G.A. Rob says, Joe Adell is wasting money. He will never be the same.
I would normally agree with all of these, and I do kind of agree with all these, except that look at Jared Kelenic right now. I would have thought the same thing about him. In fact, when we were looking at that Topps Chrome Sapphire purple auto, I was like, I don't know, man. I just can't keep doing this with these Wisconsin guys.
Man, he's really going off to start the year. Getting back to a couple of comments at the top here, not related to baseball. 1000 Mountain says Zimbabwe market is falling recently. Would it be better if he just moved down from PSG, or would the drama follow him elsewhere? Is he worth picking up at these cheaper prices? I think you can find a nice rare card for a good value. Definitely would not say it's a bad pickup. I think he will be moving to Real Madrid at some point in the future. I kind of hope it's sooner rather than later. He needs to start playing in a harder domestic league and also needs to start advancing further in the Champions League to really get some fire to his market outside of the World Cup years. So we'll see, but he's one of the best in the world, or will be the best in the world in the future, talent wise, from all around perspective. Holland obviously is an animal, but wouldn't say it's a bad idea for sure.
Hey, fun fact here. So the age difference. Let me just make sure I'm right here. Okay, the age difference, because G.A. Rob says Kelenic is still young though. The age difference between Kelenic and Joe Adell is 3 months.
Wow.
3-month difference between these two guys. Kelenic, July of 1999. Joe Adell, April of 1999.
Dang. Rather closer. One of them is figuring out a little bit, just a little sooner than the other, but also Joe Adell
doing it in the majors.
Yeah, doing the majors. Did he get called up before Kelenic? I think he did.
Well, they've both been up the last 2 years, but I believe Joe Dell was called up 3 years ago. Am I wrong? No, I think I'm wrong there.
1,000
No, I'm
mountains.
right there. 2020.
I heard that Soto is not doing the shuffle anymore because of the pitch clock. Not enough time to shuffle on the in the batter's box. Maybe he is still doing it. I just don't watch enough Padres baseball. That's definitely possible. Hector, Tatis buy. Not sure of current prices. Maybe we'll bring that one up later when we talk about what Nate was doing. Tonight we'll bring up Tatis. And Chris says, Aaron, I know it's off topic, but can you look into why 2014 Prism World Cup PSA 10s are selling for over $200 when they were under $70 a few weeks ago? That's a good question. A price rise like that in today's market makes no sense, especially on a base card. But I do see them at $70. I mean, maybe it was just a one-off. I mean, it was down to like $40, but now it's up to 70. I don't see 200 at all, though, unless there's one like weird one-off sale. But it does look like it's around 70 right now. He was scoring a lot of goals in the Saudi league, but that doesn't mean a lot to anyone or to most people. Adele is the best quad A player of all time.
Yeah.
So this is a fun one. This is not neither an all-time high or all-time low, but the reason why I put it in here is because it is getting close to an all-time low, or back to what the prices were. This is his BGS 9.5. Yelich's refractor auto at 500. This is definitely a hard graph to look at, man. There was a nice 2 years chunk of time there when this card was over $1,000, and now it's down to $108. The starting price back in 2012 was $41. Now, Nate, I was watching the Brewers broadcast the other day, and they asked Craig Counsell or something like this or someone else, can Yelich get back to his 2019, 2018 power? Let me hit doubles and home runs all the time. And they said, or Craig Counsell said, we don't want him to get back to that. We want him to reinvent new Yelich in a new role, which is what he's doing. It seems scoring the most runs in the MLB. I think or at least he's like tied at the top right now. Do you think that new role is going to actually benefit the Brewers to like the point where we can win some playoff series again? Or do you, like card market wise, it could just kill his card market, right? If you're not hitting for power anymore, if you hit 12 home runs in the year or whatever, like no one's probably going to want his cards.
For starters, I'd like him to just hit right now, considering he's hitting 227 with a 320 on base and a 348 slugging. So he's 17% worse than league average. So I would like him to start with just hitting straight up. Now, if he runs 100 point better on base percentage, if he can hit 260 and he's getting on base 360, or if he can hit 270 and he's getting on base 370, I take it. All right, I will take that all day long. At the top of my lineup, you just get on base, you let the guys behind drive them in. Mm-hmm. Especially with he still has wheels, he'll still get into scoring position. That being said, he doesn't lead the league in runs, though he does have 14. You know what he leads the league in?
Putouts. I don't know.
Strikeouts with 26 on the year.
That's brutal. What? 26?
Yeah, in 16 games. So right now, I'm not even just hoping for power. I'm quite literally just hoping for him to be able to hit enough where he can be as good as last year.
So, Nate, he's on pace for 142 strikeouts this year, which is actually less than he had last year. Did he lead the NL in strikeouts last year?
No, he had 162. What's crazy is, so he was 288, 284, 300, 298, 282, 326, 329 batting averages from his Miami years to the Brewers, all really good. And then 205, 248, 252, 227, which you shouldn't put a ton of stock into batting average. But when it goes from high 280s, 290s, 300s, 320s to your highest is 252, that's a major issue.
I think the bigger problem is, not bigger problem. My point is he hasn't had over an 800 OPS since his MVP. He got second MVP since his back-to-back really, really good years.
Yep.
And it looks like he hasn't had an over 400 slugging percentage in a full season since then either.
Well, yeah, full season.
Not counting COVID year when he had 205.
Yeah. It's not been pretty. And I don't like it.
I just hope that he can make himself valuable to Brewers, because Brewers signed a big contract. If he can make himself valuable and get on base and the like, then I'm happy. But
his defense has been decent this year. I mean, considering he's 17% worse than league average hitter and he has 0.4 baseball reference wins above replacement.
I just saw that and it actually ran through my head too. And it made me a little happy because when I was watching the game the other day, he actually looked like he was trying in the outfield. I can't say he looked like he was trying in the other years, but it looked like he was
I
trying.
mean, I gotta imagine that if you have Garrett Mitchell there, and you have Joey Weimer, who leads the league in defensive runs saved this year, you kind of probably feel like you have to give it your all.
Yeah, otherwise you're gonna get shown up by these young guys and you won't want to play anymore.
Not that Joey Weimer is hitting either. He is not hitting well.
Yeah,
But
valuable in the outfield.
if you are leading baseball, all of baseball in defensive runs saved, you have a lot of value.
Down on the farm says so now he's Kevin Kiermaier. Is Yelich. I thought Kevin Kiermaier was like a really good outfielder.
He was a really good outfielder. I don't know if he's still a really good outfielder
Yeah.
considering age, but yes, he was a really good outfielder. I would say he's a better Jackie Bradley Jr. at this point.
Oh gosh, brutal. Moving on from the Yelich depressing talk.
No, Jackie Bradley Jr. was also an insanely good outfielder, so that's not but he was a much worse hitter.
Yeah,
That's still not a good comparison, but you get my point.
yeah, we're close. Ohtani all-time high, bro. Can we rewind to 2019 when a Sapphire rookie PSA 9 was $52? That's insane. That's insane.
We rewind to 2019 when I pulled a jersey auto number to 10 of Ohtani and then sold it for like $260. Like I don't know what that would be nowadays.
I didn't think that was a bad sale at the time.
It wasn't, but I'd still like to have it back as opposed to $260.
That I can understand. I don't know if we're gonna be able to figure this out quick enough, but I was trying to. What was that? Series 2?
Yeah, number to 10. I don't know if you'll be able to find that. I was just trying to find one that is similar, and it's proving difficult.
I think did you auction it? I found your auction.
Yeah, we did.
265 in 2019.
Are there any more?
No. At least
I bet there's 9 others sitting in.
Oh wait, one did sell. A PSA 9 in 2022 sold for $900 in June. That puts card ladder values at $1,325 right now for that card.
Rough.
GA Rob says Ohtani's still a great buy compared to his prices in late December. Well, I'll tell you what, his prices are quite a bit more than now. This was back in July, I think was the last clock price on this, so it did increase a lot since last July. But this new PSA 9 sale was $2,000. Yes, all-time high for his card. And we just wrote about his warm-up shirt, PSA 9 short print, that also got an all-time high recently at $200. So lots
Ohtani,
of
real quick before you move on to Fati, Ohtani seems like one of those guys that if you just have the money and you can stomach it just being an investment without trying to make the money back, this seems like one of the most. There's no sure bets, obviously, but this does seem like close to one of the most sure bets of a guy that is going to grow in like aura as the years go on, where you put in $2,000 now and in 40 years when you're ready to retire or whatever, and your grandkids are like, tell me about Ohtani, or your great grandkids, I don't know, whatever. It seems like one of those guys where we're all going to look back and we're going to say, yeah, we watched Ohtani play. He was amazing. He could be fooled and be shoulders way out and still hit the ball 400 feet if he wanted to. Stuff that I haven't seen, and it's and throw a complete game shutout where he wins with the only home run, Giovanni Gallardo style. It's one of those things that if you can just put the money in now and not care and not need that money, I mean, how does it get any better? We're going to be look at what Babe Ruth cards do nowadays.
Can we take a moment to look back and say, wow, that's a great card. I wish I didn't sell that.
Yeah, we should not have sold that.
So this is the finest mystery redemption on card auto, numbered on 99 SGC 9. We bought this for like $1,000 as a BGS 8.5, got regraded, did move up to an SGC 9 with a 10 auto. $1,600 on the sale did make us some money, which was nice. But this card for sure is like pushing $4,000 now. Before the season started, there's a BGS 8.5 that sold for $3,000. So this is, in my opinion, for sure pushing 4K. And That's the only issue, Nate, with, we've bought and sold a lot of cards through both PWCC, through
Yeah, because
whatnot.
you keep it moving. You keep it moving.
Keep it moving, right? Inevitably, you're going to look back and find things like this, find many different things, right?
But you know what? In an effort to keep it moving, how many cards have we sold? If we went back and looked at cards, we're like, wow, I'm glad we sold that.
Yeah. Plenty of cards. And also I'd like to point out here, if you take our profit of around $400, I'd say after fees, that bought us the Wander Franco in the exact same episode this sold.
There you go.
The blue Father's Day. So we just shifted the money around, and I still think this would end up being more valuable, of course, than but we got our original investment out of it too. So I guess that's the other thing to point out. Either way, just thought it'd be fun to share.
By selling this, we got a free Wander Franco Father's Day blue.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So we'll take it.
We'll take it. But I still think if we have got some extra cash, just long term, buy a card, put it away. As long as he stays healthy, and I get that that's a worry because like there's the same thing with Mike Trout, and then he didn't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he stays healthy and keeps doing what he's doing, I mean, there's just no way that this is a fail.
Yeah, but that's the as long as, and then if, and then that's how it could be a fail. So.
And even if he gets injured, there are going to be people talking about this 3-year stretch for 50 years.
I agree with you for sure. Oh, Gabriel says my brother sold a raw 1997 Metal Universe Emmitt Smith PMG green out of 10 for $120 back in 1999.
That's good money in 1999. Look at that. You just got a PS1. Actually, I don't know. They probably were more expensive than that, but still.
We want to know how much a green PMG is worth?
Yeah, you got to look that up.
A PSA 5 sold for $38,000. A PSA 5.
If this was me, guaranteed that $120 went to a lot of Baja Blasts and other Taco Bell goodies.
Oh gosh, that's my favorite. I love when you do that, the Taco Bell. All right, moving on. All-time low. Now the last sale was like $10 more than the all-time low, I think, but we're at $42 now for a PSA 10 Ansu Fati Sapphire rookie. Oh man, those first graded copies back when PSA shut down and there was like a pop 20 on the market or something like that at $2,000. It's just hard to look at considering his car is $42 now. Now he's also been injured a lot and multiple knee surgeries, plays here, plays there, does well sometimes, doesn't do well or play other times. So this is a clear case of a lot of supply into the market and big drops with a lack of excitement around his car market anyways from playing perspective. But yeah, one to point out here, Ansu Fati all-time low. That's a 98% drop. There's some cards you can find like that, but that is 98%. That is a tough number to look at for sure. Oh wow. Hector sold a Kobe rookie game used full uniform for $8,000 in 2003. Holy cow. How do you even, I can't even believe you had that. That's insane.
We all have our stories, apparently.
Yeah, we do have all have our stories. Wow. I'd have to think about some that I have, but that's crazy. Wow. And then I think the last one I've got highlighted here. Yes, this is the last one. This is David Pastrnak. I talked about him last week, actually, and he hit 60 goals, PSA 10. Just hit a big spike here recently after getting 60 goals, helping the Bruins break the record for most wins and points in an NHL season. This is, it's not quite the all-time high. It's a little bit off the all-time high back in 2021, but the market perception for sure is an all-time high. I mean, look at that rise in that short of a period. That's crazy to see in 2023. What a great year for him, and we'll see what they do in the Stanley Cup playoffs. For their sake, I hope that they get to the finals because to have that great of a year and not make the finals would be very disappointing, I'd say. Nate, Corbin Carroll turning into a player that everyone hoped he would?
Yeah, I mean it's he's as of yesterday when I checked, he had a 101. Wait, was it Corbin Carroll?
I don't know.
Corbin Carroll only has those wouldn't be 101 WRC or OPS pluses. I gotta recheck that. Oh, 123 now. Did Corbin Carroll have a great game yesterday?
I was going to say, those stats I'm looking at the screen right now, 293, 305, 552, 4
are significantly better than what I looked at yesterday. I wonder if he had a great game. One game early in the season can up that drastically. He did have a home run and 2 RBI yesterday, going 2 for 2.
So
So
I'm
he
gonna.
was 758 OPS the game before, and now an 842.
Wow, that's a big jump. I'm gonna round back really quick to Bazooka Tom's comment on Ohtani because I actually meant to say the same thing. So he said, "I think it should be noted that now is probably not the right time to buy Ohtani since the Angels will probably not win the World Series. Injury or not, there will still be Ohtani dips. I do think that there will be a small pullback unless he just keeps on going crazy and wins Cy Young and MVP in the same year or something like that, which I guess is definitely possible. But I guess I would be a cautious buy in the near future where like." There's been some pretty big rises. No matter what rises, normally there's a small pullback. So, but what Nate's coming from perspective is like the money, the extra $200 or $300 doesn't matter to you. If it doesn't matter to you, then that's what we just think is lock something up. That's nice. I guess that's probably what you meant, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, moving on to our next segment. Unless you have anything else to add here, Nate, before you go on.
Nope. We're good.
All right, awesome. Moving on to our next segment. So there's this thing called Foul Territory. Now I'll let Nate talk to you about this starting about right now because today not only was Max Scherzer on Foul Territory, but look at that. Max Scherzer, Will Smith, and Slabstocks all joined the broadcast. Nate, talk to us about what Foul Territory is and then what you were doing today. First, give everyone an insight to what this new channel is that started a month ago.
Yeah, so Foul Territory is what they're trying to do is they have Scott Braun, formerly MLB Network, and then a bunch of players. You can see AJ Pierzynski right there. They've got Eric Kratz, former Brewers catcher. They've got Todd Frazier, Reds, Mets, White Sox. Hit a bunch of home runs. They've got Adam Jones. I assume you all know who Adam Jones is. They just brought in Lorenzo Cain. Brought in Jason Kipnis. And then they also get on a bunch of players. They talked to Will Smith, formerly of the Brewers, not the catcher Will Smith, but the reliever Will Smith. And they also talked to Max Scherzer today. They've talked to Freddie Peralta in the past, Christian Yelich, guys like that. Ken Rosenthal's on the channel. So they have a lot of big names, and they're just trying to cover sports from a baseball player perspective.
Awesome.
Essentially. And pretty cool idea. They just started a month and a half ago, so they're still growing. They don't have. You can see they have 3,000 subscribers, and that's a month of growth, which is pretty good. I think.
Pretty good. I think it's really good.
Yeah, we would say after having done this for years and years and years, that's really good. And getting guys like Max Scherzer on is a huge boon to that. So today, somehow, some way, I followed up Max Scherzer on the show, which is a wild, wild thing to say. And you can see here, either I said something dumb or somebody else said something dumb because Kratz has his hand in his head.
Nate, this was when AJ Pierzynski said to you, Nate, do you want to buy a Corbin Burns base card for $4? And you go, I'll buy it if you sign it.
That's right. So we'll see if he does that. But yeah, so I got to go on the show, and Todd opened up a box of 2019 Topps Museum collection. He hit a Artist 101 sketch card. Which is I emailed the guy at Topps just for some clarification because I couldn't find it. And he said, and I quote, "The auto Todd mentions about on the back is not Andre's, but just the artist writing the player's name. The card's limited to 50 were the canvas collection reprints, which are reproductions of select one-of-one sketch cards. This is a true one-of-one sketch card from an artist named John Pliak." So I don't know where that's at in the checklist. I still have to look closer at the checklist and see if I can find that. But he did hit a Juan Soto auto, a one-of-one sketch, Willie Adames auto, a quad patch there for the Rockies, and it was a really good time. We got to talk cards, and they were really nice and made it relaxing for me because I was a bit nervous, obviously, and it was a good time.
Yeah, there's the Andre Dawson right there. The like you said, they do what do they call them? Recollection?
What?
When they do like the ones that they print, not the actual hand done ones.
Oh, the reprint. That's just reprint.
Okay, so they have an artist design it and then they reprint them to put more in the set. But this was the true artist designed one, right? Or the true sketch or whatever of it.
Yeah, but I guess I'm just a little bit confused as to where to find the like So from the guy I emailed at Tops looking for an explanation of what it was, he said the auto Todd mentions about on the back because there's an Andre Dawson auto. I guess it's not auto by Andre Dawson. It's the artist who was John Pliak
Yeah.
writing the player's name on the card and then signing the card himself. He said the card's limited to 50, where the Canvas Collection reprints, which are reproductions of select 101 sketch cards, whereas this is a true 101 sketch. But I can't find this 101 sketch on the
Got you.
on the checklist, so I don't know what to make of that.
So, as a viewer of the show, first of all, it was super cool. Proud of Nate for being on there. That was awesome to see him up there talking with.
Definitely a highlight of my Slab Stocks career.
That's my dad was like, I think that's probably a highlight of Nate Slapsack's career. He literally said that to me right after it. Was some really funny moments on there. Nate cracked a few jokes there, laughing back and forth. So I would urge you all to go look up Follow Territory on YouTube to go subscribe to them and watch the episode. You can click live shows on their channel to find today's. And Nate's segment starts, I think, around like
the hour and 50-minute mark or so.
Hour 50-minute mark. I still think it's wild. Like you said, you followed up Max Scherzer. He was a guest right before you, and then boom, here comes Slapsocks Nate. But I was excited about that Willie Adames auto for sure, and really, really cool card. And then the sketch was awesome. The Juan Soto auto was wild. And Nate was on there breaking down some of the numbers and looking up some of the values for them and stuff like that. So hopefully going forward, this happens again, and you all can tune in live and shout out in the chat. I know, shout out Big John. Shout out to Big John, one of our very own here from Slab Stocks, was there watching and throwing in some comments for us. We appreciate that a lot. So that's pretty cool to see. And I hope to see it done again. Nate, what was like your from expectations? Would you just go in there looking to talk baseball and then came out like, wow, that was awesome? I don't know if you have much reaction to it.
I don't know what my expectations were. I was just hoping it wouldn't be awkward.
Definitely wasn't, in my opinion. That was just a couple dudes having some fun time with some baseball and cards, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, Scott was there. I've talked to him before, but I had not gotten to talk to Todd Frazier, AJ Przinsky, or Eric Kratz before. So it's kind of like one of those, like, are these dudes that played professional baseball going to be like, what the heck is this guy doing on our screen? And I was like, I sure hope not. And they were very nice and very personal. And Todd Frazier especially went out of his way to ask a bunch of questions and stuff. And say my name. Like, it's nice when you're talking to somebody and Aaron, what do you blah blah blah? It's
like you feel acknowledged. You feel like that they care about you being there and stuff like that. It's super cool. They seem like awesome guys, and hopefully someday we can meet them. Pause that at a bad time for you. But so I want to bring up, there was a comment earlier about Tatis's market, because there was a segment here where you guys talked about Tatis, and I urge everyone to go watch that because it's really funny, and AJ Przinsky is super dry humor, so I go watch that. But Nate, what are your thoughts on the Tatis market right now? Because Hector, I think, asked earlier. What are your thoughts on the Tatis market this moment with him coming back? And you said a week, right?
Thursday.
Oh, wow. This Thursday.
Yeah. My thoughts are, there's going to be people that hate Tatis. There just are. But if he plays well, that cures everything. So it really comes down to him. If he's playing well, people will collect him. If he's not playing well, the hate and the angst and everything against him will come out. So and not only from fans of fans outside of the Padres, but also Padres fans, because he's signed to a huge extension. So it's just one of those things where it comes down to him. If he plays well, I think his market will be hot. If he doesn't, obviously it will be worse than normally not playing well.
I'd say the market's higher right now than when he first got suspended, but it's still quite low, and I'm sure he still has a lot of way to go with fans, and even Padres fans themselves probably from trusting him again, because there's a lot of letdown, I know, last year. One thing I want to point out that Todd brought up was that he has a lot of his own one-of-ones or different rare cards. He said he buys his own cards all the time. And then I think he asked Kratz and AJ if they buy their own cards or something, or you asked them?
I asked him.
Kratz goes, yeah, if people give them to me.
Yeah.
I
like
funny.
It. That's like you. You and Eric Kratz, one and the same.
Me?
Yeah, Topps gave you your own cards.
Oh, it's true. I haven't bought one yet. They did give me the cards, though. It was very funny. It was very funny. But yeah, once again, you can go check out that segment on Follow Territory YouTube channel. They go live Monday through Friday to run a 2-hour show I watched it today. It was actually a very insightful show, just outside of Nate's segment. They were talking at the start a lot about the Herman. What's his first name? Domingo, the Yankees pitcher. Spoke
Oh,
German. I think starts with a D.
oh, Domingo German. Is it German?
Yeah, I heard them pronounce it like Herman, I think G silent. But either way, they were talking about that. There's a lot of player perspective from like cheating standpoint. They actually asked Will Smith one time about, I think when he got kicked out of a game for having something on his arm or something like that. But either way, it was a really cool show. Would recommend if you're a baseball fan for sure checking it out. And of course, the times that Nate's on there, or hopefully on there going forward, that you all come on and chat baseball cards with all of us. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So Nate, awesome job on there. And I can't wait to see what's up next. Interesting. Sports Card Professor 7 says, Flash news, NEOS cards and comics just posted. Now things are getting spicy as Panini has sued Fanatics for the recent talent acquisition from their ranks. Interesting. I will be looking to find the info right after this live show and probably post about that because that's wild. Let's see what happens there. Nate, I know Nate covered that in a Daily Slab. I think, for anyone that isn't aware of what happened, Panini basically, or Fanatics hired a bunch of different Panini top ranking officials in football card categories and stuff like that, I think, to help them with their transition into the new licenses, obviously, as those will come in the following years. Nate, anything else to add on the Follow Territory segment before we wrap up with whatnot scheduled for the week?
It's just really cool to experience, something I never thought I would get to experience. So that was a treat. And really, I got to experience it because of everyone that follows us. Because if it wasn't for everyone, the 43 of you in here and the people that watch it afterwards and the people that comment on our Instagram stuff, they would never have seen Aaron and I or to be able to give me a chance to do this. So thank you.
Awesome. Well said. All right, just 2 shows this week on Whatnot, Tuesday and Thursday. So Tuesday, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, I'm doing Prism, EPL, first off the line, soccer. You have half a case going. Hopefully maybe do the second half of the case if people are interested. And then Thursday, Nate will be doing a What's Brewing segment for Chrome F1 Sapphire. I will actually be in Toronto at that time, trying to tune in on the road. And we will be gearing up, preparing for next week, which is Bowman release week. So 2 shows this week, but hopefully more coming out next week with Bowman release week, and I'll have soccer singles next week as well. But Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern time is where to find us this week on Whatnot to hang out with us throughout the week. That's all I got, everyone, for this week. I appreciate you all for coming once again to another Monday Slab Stocks Live. We hope to see you this week, and we will definitely see you next week, hopefully, for Bowman, because Down on the Farm is excited. I know Nate's excited.
We have
2023 Bowman. What?
3 cases?
We're having 5 coming in. We'll see how many for release day. I don't know how many for release day yet, but we'll find out. Bazooka Tom said, and baseball whatnot days coming. There are baseball whatnot days coming. Bazooka Tom, the goal is to be live on Bowman release day, Wednesday, the 26th. Fingers crossed all the product makes it in time. But that is the goal, is Wednesday, 26th for Bowman release day will be the first baseball show of during the actual season. So appreciate y'all for being here. We'll catch you in a future live stream and have a great rest of your day.
See you guys.